I've been investigating something, and I'm going to warn you right now, what I found might surprise you. I've been talking to people who are retired, people who have the pension, the savings account, the plan, all of it, and they still tell me something feels off. Something feels like it's missing. And then I've talked to other people retired with half of that money, no fancy plan, and they look at me and say, Jimmy, I never felt more free in my life. So I had to ask the question, what is actually going on here? I'm Jimmy C, and today we investigate. Welcome to Legacy with Jimmy C, where we explore freedom, purpose, and legacy, and what it really means to live well in your freedom years. If this is your first time here, I'm so glad you found this channel. I'm 64 years old. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a retirement guru. What I am is somebody who spent a lot of time asking questions, talking to real people, and investigating what actually creates a life that feels free. Think of me as your freedom years detective. In today's case, the mystery of why some people retire and feel completely alive, and others retire and feel completely lost. Let's dig in. Freedom is not the same as stopping. Here's the first thing my investigation turned up. And honestly, this one stopped me in my tracks. Most of us spend 30, 40 years thinking about retirement as the finish line. We say things like, when I retire, I'll finally be free. When I retire, I can do whatever I want. When I retire, life really begins. But here's what I discovered. For a lot of people, the moment they stop working, the freedom doesn't show up. Instead, what shows up is silence, and not the peaceful kind. Retirement isn't the finish line, it's the starting gun for the most important race you'll ever run. A man I spoke with, let's call him Robert, he told me he counted down the days to retirement for 3 years. The day came, he walked out of the office, he went home, and within 6 weeks, he called me and said, Jimmy, I don't know who I am anymore. Robert had confused stopping with freedom, and they are not the same thing. Stopping is the absence of obligation. Freedom is the presence of purpose, and that difference, it changes everything. Freedom requires something to move toward. So my investigation continued. If stopping isn't freedom, then what is? Here's clue number 2. Every single person I've ever talked to who felt generally free in retirement had something they were moving toward, not running away from work, moving towards something. Maybe it was travel, maybe it was their grandkids, maybe it was a garden or a business or a ministry or a creative project they'd been putting off for 20 years. The form didn't matter that much. What mattered was direction. Think about water for a second. Still water sitting in a pond goes stagnant over time. Moving water stays clean, stays alive, stays fresh. People are the same way. We are designed to move, to grow, to contribute. And when we stop doing that, even if we call it retirement, something inside us starts to feel like that still pond. So the Freedom Years detective clue number 2 is this. You need a direction. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to make you rich, but you need something you're moving toward. What is that for you? I want you to actually think about that for a second. Because what you just thought of, that might be the most important thing in this whole video. Freedom is built, not found. All right, clue number 3. And this one is where the investigation got really interesting. I think a lot of us have been told, maybe without even realizing it, that freedom is something that happens to you. You save enough money, you hit the right age, you check the right boxes, and then poof, freedom appears. But that is not what I found. What I found is that freedom is something that you build piece by piece, choice by choice, day by day. The people I met who feel the most free, they made intentional decisions. They said yes to things that aligned with who they were. They said no to things that didn't. They built routines that gave them energy. They created connections that gave them meaning. They pursued income options that gave them flexibility instead of anxiety. Freedom isn't waiting for you at the finish line. Freedom is what you construct along the way and what you keep constructing in your freedom years, which is exactly why I created this channel. Because I believe this, the best years of your life are not behind you, they are being built right now. And I want to be your guide as you build them. So here's what the Freedom Years Detective found after all this investigating. Freedom in retirement is not about stopping, it's about purpose. It's not about money alone, it's about direction. It is not something that falls into your lap. It is something you build, and you can start building it right now. Case closed. But the real investigation, the one into your own freedom years, that one is just getting started. And I would love for you to continue with me right here on this channel. If this video connected with you at all, hit the subscribe button, because every week I am right here exploring freedom, legacy, purpose, adventure, and what it really means to live fully in this season of life. And leave me a comment below. Tell me, what does freedom mean to you in this season? I read every single one. I want to know. I'm Jimmy C. These are your freedom years. Let's make them count.